synthetic cannabis, specifically the cannabinoid chemical HHCH, which is now banned in Japan.
A Japanese health ministry panel decided to ban HHCH, a synthetic cannabinoid, from December 2nd after many people who consumed gummies containing the compound had to go to the hospital.
So this so-called legal weed, or hexahydrocannabis hexol, will be added to the list of illicit drugs in Japan, which encompasses possession, use, and distribution.
That's a cool name, I gotta say. Hexahydrocannabis hexol.
HHCH.
Currently, HHCH is not banned in Japan, although the substance has structures similar to THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, which is derived from cannabis and already prohibited in the country.
The Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare is also considering banning all substances with chemical structures similar to HHCH.
On November 4th, 5 individuals ranging in age from their teens to their 50s fell ill after consuming gummies and packages labeled HHCH distributed by a man at a festival in western Tokyo, according to investigative sources.
So this dude literally went around and was like, eat this, it'll make the music sound better. And what I want to know is, why did this dude go out of his way to pass these out? Like, he wasn't even charging for it. He was just passing them out for free to unsuspecting people to get them messed up. And it's like, what was the motive behind this? It's sort of unclear.
It sounds very hippie-ish, spreading the happiness around.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not what resulted in it. Following similar cases, the Health Ministry's Narcotics Control Department conducted on-site inspections at the manufacturer of the gummies and stores selling them in Tokyo and Osaka, and detected HHCH in some of their products.
So people who ate a product called HHCH gummies became ill? Why is that exactly?
So it is because these gummies contained a substance similar to the one in weed, marijuana. So marijuana contains ingredients collectively known as cannabinoids, and one typical harmful substance is THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol. A synthetic compound with a structure similar to THC, this HHCH, or hexahydrocannabis hexol, was found in the gummy products. This compound is believed to have been created synthetically, and the manufacture and sale of products containing it had previously not been prohibited by law.
So, how does this affect the body, really?
So, taking THC produces a feeling of euphoria, and large doses can cause nausea, hallucinations, and an uncontrollable desire to eat potato chips. Masahiko Funada, professor of psychopharmacology at the Shonan University of Medical Sciences, believes that HHCH has similar effects to marijuana.
So how dangerous is it?
There have been a number of cases across Japan where people have been taken to emergency rooms after eating products believed to contain HHCH. As a result, the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare added HHCH to the list of designated drugs under the Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Law and has banned its sale and possession since December the 2nd. And this was after extensive testing by the Ministry of Health, which included lots of trips to the convenience store.
So Parker, are we safe now?
Not quite. Funada, the health expert, points out the danger that if products contain ingredients similar to HHCH, they could be distributed without safety checks. In order to prevent health hazards, the health ministry intends to regulate similar substances together as early as January 2024 under the comprehensive designation system of the Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Law.
You know what, Parker? I'm glad they're getting rid of this. I hate the synthetic stuff because this happened back in Florida when weed was illegal. They had all this, maybe you experienced this too. I don't know if they had this in Tennessee. They had a bunch of synthetic crap that was not real weed, and it had really messed up side effects.
Yeah, I remember people were smoking bath salts and whatnot.
That was a different thing. But they were legit. I forget what they were selling it as, fragrances or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
selling it as some random product, but everybody knew it was just like synthetic, made in a lab marijuana.
Yeah, and it's just like you don't know what you're taking. And I think that the fact that all of these, were existing outside of any legal framework is just sort of a testament to the uncertain nature of these products. And while, people are always going to want to gravitate towards these things because they can get high, it's sort of dangerous. I mean, you're really kind of rolling the dice when you imbibe in one of these unknown, created in a lab substances.
Yeah. I mean, medical marijuana is good to go in Shibuya, right? If you you have to go. I know it's like insane to get approved for it.
No, I think it's they're talking about allowing it, and that would be a nationwide thing. But there hasn't been any decision made as of now.
Probably no one wants to be the person behind that, pushing that decision forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's been proven to help people with like Parkinson's disease, which is very serious, and it could end up being a miracle drug for some people. But Japan, since the post-war era, has had a very heavy-handed approach on anything marijuana. So it remains to be seen whether they will actually move to deregulate medical marijuana.
They used to grow marijuana here, right? Like before World War II, like 20 years before World War II or something.
So funny story. The consumption and production of marijuana was completely unregulated until the 1950s.
Oh.
And what happened was, in the early post-war era, methamphetamine, which was produced by the Imperial Japanese forces to jolt people up and
stim packs.
Yeah, and get them sort of hyped up to do things like becoming kamikaze pilots, that flooded onto the black market after World War II. And there were all of these people doing methamphetamine and all over the streets, and just, it was a total mess. Whoa. So the occupation forces moved to do a blanket ban on all drugs that have been considered illegal in the United States. And on that list, obviously, was marijuana.
So it's the Americans' fault that we don't have marijuana legal?
Pretty much.
Gotcha. I didn't know the thing about the methamphetamines, but that's what the Nazis were using too, right? Something similar.
Yeah.
To when they were invading France.
Exactly.
And because everyone was like, how the hell did they cover this much land in France? Because they weren't sleeping, and they were just like, taking basically like what, crack cocaine or
drugs. Drugs are the answer.
Strong drugs. Yeah.
And it's really ironic because if you think about it, America is the number one world market for illegal drugs.
That's a very good point.
It is definitely an example of a little bit of good old American hypocrisy.
Yeah, everybody wants to sell in America, man. I was watching a documentary on San Francisco. They've got like gangs from Honduras coming up through Mexico, and like they're smuggling gang members to get them in the streets of San Francisco so they can actually sell product, That's nuts. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's relatively people, getting high on this strange synthetic weed and going to the emergency room because they're freaking out, man.
Yeah.
Seems relatively safe compared to what we see in the United States with Florida man after Florida man fighting off the heads of bats.
It's fentanyl. Everyone is doing fentanyl now. And yeah, the problem too is there's synthetic fentanyl. There's the fentanyl from the Chinese companies that comes to big pharma, and then the cartels are making their own synthetic fentanyl. And those are the guys who are using the sellers from Honduras to try to bring up the product into California and Florida.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.